Exactly. That's the problem. He's playing the greatest endgame, the greatest queen endgame player of all time.
And the greatest endgame player of all time, Magnificent Cabbage Patch, opens the game with pawn to d5. His opponent here is M. Pranesh, a very strong young Indian player. Why he's M. Pranesh and Gukesh D is not D. Gukesh, I have no idea. Some informed viewer can perhaps let us all understand it better, but I do know that this was played in Titled Tuesday, 25th of November, online chess carnage, and this game was for everything. All the marbles decided the tournament first and second place. Let's dive in on this classic cracking encounter. Pranesh now goes full B3 cowboy mode. Love the opening variation we get here because Magnus, not to be outdone, builds his own banana hammock, and now Pranesh goes for the double whammy. First a bit of explosive c4, and here we go. How often do you see that? X marks the spot. That's where you want to be fighting for here. I did just get through watching Muppet Treasure Island. Fantastic film with my kids. I got pirates on the brain. Both players carrying on some natural moves. And now Magnus completes the horse box. Here we have actual footage of Magnus Horselson escaping from his horse box just last week. He's got a real strong gallop on him when he gets going. What a grab that was by the young lady. Now back to the chess, because Pranesh hits Magnus with some tactical magic. If you take here, you give up that legendary bishop bear. Not ideal. So let's head back to the game. This is Batcave mode. Grayed out. Now we see Queen c8 supporting the bishop, takes, bishop recaptures. Of course you could do this, but we get pawn a4 to nibble away at the structure. Magnus takes, king recapturing, and he does the same on the other side of the board. Modern chess for you. h3 prepares to glide on past like a ship in the night. Now we see pawn a6 from Magnus, excuse me. And it's not the best of moves. White could actually fight in the centre here with pawn e4. Stick the queen on e2. You can always defend this pawn here with one of the rooks. And then you can look for e5, f4. Maybe try and dominate this square. If e6 to block it, well then maybe you could look at knight e4, d6 once the pawn's headed to e5. Some nice ideas through the centre. But Pranesh goes for this move, and it's a bit of a pseudo threat because now you can go rook d8 here, pawn's attacked, but it's immune. If you eat that poisoned apple, then you get wham bam slammed and lose a bishop. So not touched. We get pawn f3, and it's a very stinky move. It's Swiss cheese on the dark squares. Surprising that Magnus didn't play h4 now. Looks so natural to break them up some more. But he plays rook b8 instead. h4 now the best response. But we get knight e4, changing the structure once more. Magnus now activates the queen here. And after queen c2, we get knight e8. A lot of pieces now going into the blender. This is the game. Yes, you can take and hit the queen, but as long as you don't Botez Gambit, you're going to win back the pawn. We get something similar to the game. Let's jump back. This was played. Now pawn takes. Knight takes here. F recaptures to open up the rook on f1. And after rook takes, yes, the material is level, but Magnus has got the worst structure. And this is what Pranesh now tries to fight against. Queen g5, technically strongest. Not played. He does this. It allows Magnus this f5 shot using some clever pins. Missed. It's human chess. You take my c pawn. I munch your e pawn. Now we see rook a5. Defended. Double stack on the a file. Defended. And now queen f2. Just nudging around. Waiting. Holding the base of the chain. Magnus improves the king. We see a pair of rooks getting rook rolled. Now queen e5, and that's a black widow, shooting the 8 legs in every direction. This rook lifts into the game, and queen b2. Magnus invading now, keeping the pressure on here, and this looks really natural. Just a small waiting move, keep the pressure on here, all's good in the world. But black can actually play rook f6 now with a sizable advantage. And the idea is you're converging, queen can try and hit the back rank. There's all kinds of tactical ideas now of crashing through to the king or winning the e-pawn if the queen strays too far. But missed. Instead, Magnus goes for the rook, queen b2 strongest. He plays queen c3. This one now saves itself. a5 on the board, and that's a dangerous outside passer. I mean, we've not seen a runner that primed and ready since Yasser Serwan donned the tank top back in the day. I mean, he had some wheels on him. Won the US Chess Grandmasters 50-meter dash 3 times in a row. Big thanks to his coach, Leslie, there. Pictured on screen, what a specimen. We now see this pawn push to e5, and it sets a trap. If you keep running like Yasser, bang, you just got hit with the double attack. Rook's going to drop, or the pawn on a7. No rook f6, of course. So Magnus spots it. These guys just so good, but it's under the surface. It's like a chess iceberg. Now we see this queen hit the pawn anyway. So Magnus plays the usually stinky f6, but forced. And there is a structure that only a mother could love. Ugh. Queen b7 hits the backwards pawn. Now this rook takes here, and it's a sneaky Magnus trap because you're almost inclined to take with check, chuck in that little in-betweener, but of course you can save the rook and block. You know, a rook down. These guys don't fall for that stuff. Queen e5 re-centralizes, triple hits some stuff. Queen a7. I'm just getting carried away with the paint today, as you can see. Yasser's cousin, by the way, Yasser Ross, loves a good paint. Here's him with his chess canvas. Now we see this pawn push. Yes, you could take. It's just a different game. This was played though. Now Magnus starts checking, and we get a fair bit of that. Check, check. He's humming away. Check out my melody. He was also threatening to crash through here. Now he goes over here with the h-pawn. Captures. We soon see this a-pawn drop, but not just yet. Lots more checks, and Magnus has a choice. Do you want to now carry on the perpetual check, make the draw? Or do you want to play Queen e3? The audience is going absolutely nuts because they know it's going to end up in an epic cheese video. You could take here and here. Again, that's just a different game. Pranesh pushes, and now the pawn drops. And look at this. This is bold and fearless play from Magnus. You could also say reckless. He's a pawn down now, really pushing the envelope here. He defends these two. Now check, and the excellent move by Pranesh. Queen h6, creeping in, threatening this check. Then your king is really getting exposed. So Magnus covers, hints at queen f1 check. King goes, now queen f5, king d1, and apparently just waiting with a king is best, but e5's on the board. For some reason, king d2, completely winning. King c2, winning, but not so winning. And this is why we're slaves to the computer chess machines. But Magnus Carlsen, he's beginning to believe.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe
that he can hold this draw. He pushes, king c3. Now you should simply take, apparently, but he doesn't do it. He checks. Now he should check from b8. He doesn't do it. Now he's completely lost, but Pranesh misses it. They're low on time, scrambling. They don't get increment, which is time back per move, sometimes mistakenly called excrement by idiots on YouTube. Takes is played here. Magnus still a pawn down. Check is played. King going. And now queen takes on c5 is the only winning move.
The only winning move.
It's the only move?
Will Pranesh find it? obviously I'm about to show you, but obviously with it being the final 2 days of the Remote Chess Academy sale, I've got to call it out. Cyber Monday today, then we're into Tuesday. You only get 2 more days to get these fantastic courses before they're gone till like June next year. The Road to 2000 is exceptional, under $100. Grandmaster Igor Smirnov, incredible teacher. He'll teach you how to think like these top guys. Even the super bundle is at the lowest price ever, like 80% off. Get it while it lasts. Link in the description. Such good courses. What to play here? Well, queen takes on c5, the move, but h5's played. It's a draw once more. Magnus can check, perpetual that king, but he takes. Check, king goes, and guess what? Now he's completely lost. Pranesh has the extra pawn, it's running, it's supported by the king. All Magnus can desperately hope for is perpetual check and try and win on time. This is what he now goes for. Pawn pushes on once more. More checks, king being given the runaround. We're into the 80s now on the move count. There goes the king, queen blocks, and here Magnus makes a terrible blunder. He should carry on checking from f7 or swing round to c7 to block the progress of the pawn. But it's very difficult to stop that in practical terms with things like queen d7 on the way. King can keep running around. He plays check down here though, and it allows Pranesh to block with his queen and deliver a counter check. And here Magnus resigned because you're forcing the queens off the board. And then, of course, Pawnee runs through. You can't get back. You're going to get mated. Pranesh wins it. Magnus had a draw but didn't take it. And with that, he even took all of Titled Tuesday on tiebreak. Also beat Hikaru. What a guy. What a tournament. Well done to him. Hope you enjoyed. Check out the Remote Chess Academy, link below, and have a look at the video on screen in case you missed Magnus versus Hans this same tournament. Outstanding game. Thanks a lot and see you soon. Cheers.